This is what happened when Barry Manilow went in for a routine checkup after recovering from bronchitis. The 82-year-old music legend announced on Instagram this morning that he's been diagnosed with lung cancer. But here's the thing, he says he feels great, has no symptoms, and the doctors caught it incredibly early. Let's break down exactly what Manilow revealed, how this was discovered, and what it means for his upcoming tour. Barry Manilow took to his official Instagram account this morning to share the news directly with his fans, and he didn't sugarcoat it, but he also made it clear this isn't a dire situation. Doctors discovered a cancerous spot on his left lung during an MRI scan. The cancer is stage 1, and most importantly, doctors don't believe it has spread. Manilow wrote in his post that the MRI discovered a cancerous spot on his left lung that needs to be removed, and it's pure luck, along with a great doctor, that it was found so early, and here's what makes this story particularly interesting. Manilow says he has 0 symptoms, putting it in his own words that ironically, he feels great and has no symptoms. He went on to say he's thankful that his doctors were proactive and ran tests that typically wouldn't be done, catching it very early. So how did doctors find this cancer when Manilow wasn't even feeling sick? It all started with a persistent case of bronchitis that lasted 6 weeks, then came back for another 5-week relapse. Eventually, he recovered and went back to performing his residency shows at the Westgate Las Vegas, but his doctor wasn't taking any chances. They ordered an MRI as a precautionary measure, just to make sure everything was okay after those back-to-back respiratory infections, and that's when they found the cancerous spot on his left lung. This is actually a perfect example of why follow-up care matters, because if Manilow's doctor hadn't been proactive about ordering that MRI, this cancer might not have been caught at such an early stage. Manilow himself emphasized this point to his fans, saying that if you have even the slightest symptom, get tested. Lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer death in the United States, accounting for about 1 in 5 of all cancer deaths according to the American Cancer Society, and it's also the second most common cancer in both men and women, not counting skin cancer. The key to survival is catching it early, which is exactly what happened here. Here's where the news gets even better. Manilow will undergo surgery to remove the cancerous spot from his lung, but that's it. No chemotherapy, no radiation, just surgery and recovery. In typical Barry Manilow fashion, he kept his sense of humor about it all, writing that there's no chemo, no radiation, just chicken soup and I Love Lucy reruns. The recovery time is expected to be about 1 month, which means Manilow will need to postpone some concerts, but he'll be back on stage relatively soon. The diagnosis does mean changes to Manilow's upcoming concert schedule, and his January arena concerts from the Christmas, A Gift of Love tour will need to be rescheduled. The good news is that these shows are being moved to late February, March, and April of 2025, and if you have tickets to one of the January shows, you can use them for the rescheduled dates. The rescheduled tour kicks off February 27th in Tampa and will hit Florida, South Carolina, and Georgia, and Manilow made it clear he's counting down the days until he can get back on stage. He specifically mentioned his Valentine's weekend concerts, saying he's counting the days until he returns to his home away from home at the Las Vegas for their Valentine's weekend concerts on February 12th, 13th, and 14th, 2026. Manilow just finished his Christmas shows at the McDonald Theater in Palm Springs before making this announcement, so he was performing right up until he decided to share the news publicly. For those who might not know the full scope of Barry Manilow's career, we're talking about one of the best-selling artists of all time. Born Barry Allen Pincus on June 17, 1943, in Brooklyn, New York, he later changed his name to his mother's maiden name, Manilow, after his bar mitzvah, and has since sold over 85 million records worldwide. Between 1974 and 1983, 25 of his 26 singles reached the top 40 on the Billboard Hot 100. He scored 13 #1 hits on the Adult Contemporary chart, and has 51 top 40 singles on that chart overall. You know his songs even if you think you don't, because Mandy was his first major hit in 1974, reaching #1, while I Write the Songs hit #1 in 1975, though ironically, Manilow didn't write it. That was Bruce Johnston of the Beach Boys. Then there's Copacabana, Can't Smile Without You, Looks Like We Made It, and Could It Be Magic, which was inspired by Chopin's Prelude in C minor. Beyond his own music, Manilow created some of the most famous advertising jingles in American history, writing Like a Good Neighbor, State Farm Is There, McDonald's, You Deserve a Break Today, and jingles for Band-Aid, Dr. Pepper, KFC, and Pepsi. He's won a Grammy Award for Copacabana in 1979, an Emmy Award in 2006, and a Special Tony Award in 1977, and was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2002. Rolling Stone called him the showman of our generation back in 1990. Manilow's personal life has been relatively private until recent years, and he was briefly married to his high school sweetheart, Susan Deixler, from 1964 to 1966, but that marriage was annulled. What most people didn't know for decades was that Manilow had been in a relationship with TV executive Gary Keefe since 1978, and they secretly married in April 2014, with Manilow publicly coming out as gay in a 2017 People magazine interview. When asked why he kept his sexuality private for so long, Manilow said he thought he would be disappointing them if they knew he was gay, referring to his fans, but the reaction was overwhelmingly positive. He said that when they found out that Gary and he were together, they were so happy, and the reaction was so beautiful, with strangers commenting, "Great for you." His fans, affectionately known as Fanilows, have always been fiercely loyal to him, and that loyalty is showing today with an outpouring of support following his cancer announcement. At 82 years old, Manilow shows no signs of slowing down, at least not permanently, and he's been performing a long-standing residency at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino while touring with what he's called his Last Concerts Farewell Arena Tour. He's also been doing special Christmas performances, which he just wrapped up before making today's announcement. With an estimated net worth of around $100 million, according to Celebrity Net Worth, Manilow could easily retire, but clearly, performing is what he loves. The fact that he's already looking forward to his Valentine's weekend shows and planning to continue his tour schedule through 2025 and 2026 tells you everything you need to know about his dedication to his craft and his fans. What stands out most about Manilow's announcement is his attitude, because he's grateful for proactive doctors, he's optimistic about the treatment, and he's using his platform to encourage others to get tested if they have any symptoms at all. This is a man who went through 6 weeks of bronchitis, had it come back for another 5 weeks, recovered, went back to performing, and only found out he had cancer because his doctor decided to run extra tests just to be sure. That's the kind of medical care that saves lives, and Manilow specifically thanked his doctors for being proactive and running tests that typically wouldn't be done. That's the message he wants his fans to take away from this: don't ignore symptoms, and don't skip follow-up appointments. Lung cancer being the leading cause of cancer death in America makes early detection absolutely critical, and the difference between stage 1 lung cancer and later stages can literally be the difference between life and death. Barry Manilow's cancer diagnosis is serious, but the prognosis is about as good as it gets, with stage 1, caught early, no spread, treatable with surgery alone, and a 1-month recovery period. He'll be back on stage for Valentine's Day weekend 2026, and his rescheduled tour dates will give fans plenty of opportunities to see him perform. But beyond the medical news, what we're seeing is a legend who's built a career spanning over 5 decades, sold more than 85 million records, and created some of the most memorable music and advertising jingles in American culture. At 82, he's still performing, still connecting with his fans, and still using his platform to encourage others to take care of their health, with his Instagram post ending with that reminder that if you have even the slightest symptom, get tested. That's the Barry Manilow takeaway from all of this: catch it early, stay positive, and keep doing what you love. If you have tickets to one of his January shows, check his website for the rescheduled dates, and if you're a Fanilow, you already know he'll be back on that stage as soon as humanly possible.